Hello, good evening. I had some time tonight, so I figured I'd get this reading in instead of doing it in the morning. Okay. So, just settle in, guys, okay? Guys and gals. Where I live at, where I was raised, you guys is like the plural, So, anyway. Hopefully everyone had a nice weekend. Maybe you watched the Grammys even and were entertained a little bit. I hope. You know what I mean? That's what it's there for, fun and entertainment, right? Kind of like this reading is in a general sense. So, take what you hear, um, and you have to use your own discernment. You have to use your own judgment. You have to see, does this even apply to me? Okay. So, it's like some categories on the Grammys. You're like, yeah, that one doesn't really do it for me. Okay, but your cousin that lives in Hoboken thinks it's great. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know anybody that lives in Hoboken. I mean, maybe I do, and they just haven't told me yet. So, shout out to folks in Hoboken, I guess. So, I guess I'm going to start with some meditation cards, you guys. Hopefully you've been seeing the planetary alignment out there. Where I'm at, we've had several days where it was clear in the evening. Tonight when I took the garbage out, I happened to see again the planets on either side of the moon. So do get out there and check that out, okay? I also went for a mammogram today, you guys. Not my favorite task, but I tell you, whoever the rad tech was, she was amazing. So, you know what I mean? I was very, very glad she took care of me today, And it was so, like, once I was in there, it was like in and out. Like, I just had to, get rid of my stuff, because you can't take all that stuff in to the x-ray room, right? The imaging room. And they give, they wrap you in a little gown and they give you a little key so you can get your belongings later. I mean, I was in there maybe a total of, 5 to 10 minutes. You know what I mean? They make it so quick, which is nice. Group work, yeah. Sometimes doing things ourselves takes longer, and when you have somebody who's trained and knowledgeable, yeah, it's in addition to the group. Right? It means good things ahead. So, collective, you may be having some good things coming ahead, especially if you are seeking some kind of collaborative effort. Okay. Ooh, wow, that card just flew like transmissions often do through the, what do I like to call it? Matter, you know what I mean? Through the atoms, through the air, right? What kind of things maybe are you going to be collaborating on? Maybe right now you're kind of brainstorming that idea, collective, okay? And maybe you are also collecting these ideas. You could be writing these down. And these might be something that you are going to be able to kind of mix together and then pour out into a different form. Okay, it's kind of what I'm getting. So it's kind of like you're taking raw data, it's getting filtered through the group. I'm not saying you're not going to have control over things, but I'm saying it's going to be filtered through the appropriate people, and then it's going to come out and be transmitted in a way that's going to be very satisfactory to you. Okay. Kind of like, that Texas Hold'em song, you know what I mean? Like when that first came out, it's like, I don't even, it's like, who's singing it? Whatever. And then it's like, oh my gosh. And it's like, all of a sudden it's like the most popular song, you know what I mean? It was just something that was created to bring joy to others, right? And people responded in kind. There were dance videos everywhere on TikTok and YouTube of people doing that dance, and You know what I mean? Especially at a time when our country was like, you know what I mean, had an upcoming an election and stuff. So I thought it was a very, it was the thing that we kind of needed at the time, right? And it's like that transmission came out to us in the form that it was supposed to be these little like glitterly specks of light, right? So that we can see kind of how magical we all are, right? So shout out to the Bay Train on that one. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm with you, Miley. I'm with you. Oh, I loved her dress too, by the way. I did some of the some of I don't know who your stylists are, but some of them should be fired. Okay. Um Not Miley, obviously, because I just said I loved her dress. You know, it just was very like, oh, it was so like went with her personality, I thought. You know what I mean? Sometimes they put people in these outfits and it's like it's not that person. You know what I mean? But like the dress Beyonce had, like, you know, she looks amazing in gold, number one always. You know, so her looking all glittery and everything, I thought she looked very nice. But she usually does. Anyway, let's see here. Keeping it going. The journey card. Okay. So, for many of you, this is going to be a journey like no other that you've undertaken. Maybe you have working with groups before, but this is going to be something a little different. Yeah, it's a journey like yeah, where after you complete it, it's going to afford you like some stillness. Okay. Um, you know, sometimes it's like we go through all these steps and all these changes and then we still feel restless at the end. It's like it still feels like we're on the actual freaking journey and we're like, yo, you know, like I like to listen to Journey, but I don't want my legs are tired. Right? Okay. So I feel like for whatever this is, collective, you're actually going to get some kind of, it's actually going to be like some kind of product or output that you're going to be very happy with, that it's going to provide you a feeling of accomplishment and stillness within yourself where it's like, yes, I did accomplish that. Yes, I solidified, you know what I mean, what I wanted to do with this goal. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm getting for you at the moment there. Let's move these up up and out of the way a little bit. I gotta take a little sip of my tea for one moment. Mm-mm. Oh, I love that hot tea. Nothing like it. I'm not really an iced tea person. I grew up with some iced tea drinkers, around some iced tea drinkers, but I personally am more of a hot tea kind of gal, you know. So, what is that? The Arnold Palmer? What is that like? Half? Is that the half tea, half lemonade or something? Which I can see that, like if you're out golfing, you know, it gets hot on the golf course sometimes. You can't be drinking that heavy stuff out there in that sun, you know. I also used to work at a golf course, FYI. Add that to the list of my many life experiences. But while I was in college, that was one of my jobs. And I didn't work on the golf course. Some people did, obviously, but I worked in the catering area for like, because since it was a nice golf area, they had like a big clubhouse where people did weddings and you know, hosted different parties and fundraisers and stuff. So I would work those parties, doing serving, bartending, whatever they needed to do, you know. And then a lot of times at the end of the night, they would have extras from the kitchen. So we would get like nice like chicken marsala meals and, you know, mashed potatoes. And when you're in college, a meal like that is pretty nice that you didn't have to cook yourself. So you're like, yes, thank you very much. You know, I will take that home. So it had its perks, right? It was also, you know, since it was another bartending job, I was able to try all these terrible things everyone was drinking, you know, like I learned, you know, a lot of things that I don't like to drink by bartending, you know. It's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. Okay, so definitely before a collective, if some of you have um, kind of got stumbled up in group projects, okay, or for some reason you weren't able to hear your voice, right? Like I said, this is not something where it's going to get distilled through so many channels that it loses the original message. That's not what this is about. Okay. So try and release any negativity and come into it with a positive attitude, right? Or you could just say lack of an attitude. Right? It's like when you just know somebody's got an attitude. Like, I kind of had an attitude a little bit earlier today, but some of it was warranted. A fiery climax approaches. You know what I mean? When people treat you as if, you're on a certain rung of the ladder, and it's like, you know what? I, I've showed up with less and gotten treated better elsewhere. You know what I mean? Kind of that kind of thing. So a fiery climax approaches. Sometimes you just have to kind of let people know who you are, right? And that's what I think is going to come through with this transmission. Okay, again, you're gonna have the right assembly of team members to enact this vision that you have. Okay. Work through your fears. Okay, maybe yeah, some of that negativity could be due to fears. All again, sometimes when we're on the journey, it feels like that journey is never ending. um this is going to be something though where it has like a beginning, it has an end, right? You might even like plan out a timeline, say like, I'm going to start this and then 5 months from now, you know what I mean, based on your estimation of inputs, you know what I mean, you're expecting some kind of product, right? um yeah. What is that? I'm getting that. Is that Ignition song? So what? I'm John. It's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun. Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's just coming through. Okay, where it's gonna be something. It's like it's pleasant. You know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean. Like okay, I think I shared this story previously. There was a college project I was on, and I wanted to like add some flair to it, make it kind of fun because our professor was totally into that. I thought, well, we can really get away with this. No, they wanted it very plain, very bland, very corporate. It was the most dull freaking presentation I had ever been involved in my entire life. And I worked in the corporate world, so that tells you how freaking dull it was. Anyway, um, you know what I mean? Where it's like you have so many hands in it, and then it turns it, too many cooks in the kitchen, and it spoils the stew, right? No, this is actually taking that good idea and marinating on it, marinating with it, not changing the original intent. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you want to design a sneaker shoe, okay? And then you get involved with somebody else, and they're like, "Yeah, well, we can make this whole clothing line." And then they start designing jeans and blah blah, and then at the end of the day, you're like, "Okay, well, where's my sneaker?" And they're like, "Oh, okay, it's not gonna be like that. It's like you're actually gonna get the sneaker finished." Okay. It's gonna be um yeah, the output's gonna be there where yeah, like all that work, right? Um all that work that you've put in on the journey, it's gonna feel good coming out. Okay. Yeah, take time to breathe out. So yeah, like, you know, kind of like, okay, so for all those artists, like the Grammys are over, you know, you can breathe a little sigh of, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe now they get to work on the next project if they're not working on the next project already, right? Yeah, or what their or what their label permits them, right? But as per budget, right? I'm getting for some of you though, you may be, you know, self-financed in a way. Maybe you have a, you know, a regular job to support your whatever habit. You know, maybe that's music, painting, sewing, whatever it is, right? You're able to input into those types of opportunities. Okay. So let's pull some tarot here. I'm going to use both the Spirit Halloween tonight, guys, and the Modern Witch to clarify. So that's kind of the end of just the oracle messages. If anybody doesn't really care for tarot, but I am going to get into the tarot and I am going to connect it back to these themes here. So um, just letting you know, in case you were looking for a quick overview tonight, this next part's kind of just like a second level. Okay, so um, you know, you know, take time for that stillness for yourself and breathe out if you need to at this point in the message, right? You know, um, take what you've received and, you know, and and move it forward that way, right? Sometimes we're so, you know, like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? But it's like, okay, we, you know, it's like, oh, what's the important point of award shows? Well, it's to stop and recognize that a lot of people have worked really hard, you know, to get to that point, you know. And I don't care who doesn't like who. Like, I'm not a fan, necessarily a fan of every, you know, style of whatever I heard, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean those people didn't put effort into it, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and arts and culture are things that can help us understand, you know, that, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of us are just trying to, you know, bring joy and happiness into each other's lives, right? So, you know, let's take that for what it is as well, right? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Get my Spirit Halloween deck going. See what this has to say. Yeah, I really wasn't intending on doing a reading tonight, but I was just kind of feeling curious about the energy, so I decided to tap in, and here we are. Okay. So, you know, let that be kind of a reminder to you too, like, maybe you're somebody that decided, oh, this year I'm going to the gym X amount of days a week, blah, blah. Well, maybe you missed your time slot at, you know, whatever, 6 a.m. today. You know, you can go at 6 p.m., right? You're like, no, I can't, blah, blah. Well, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow you can. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes just getting it in, and that's kind of that's the mucky stuff that sometimes we don't see in here that gets mixed around, but really what we're doing is we're taking the best, right? um and and letting that resonate, okay? um because yeah, I mean, a lot of, even, you know, professional like weightlifters and bodybuilders will tell you, like, look, today wasn't my best day in the gym, blah blah blah, but they still did it, right? Okay. I'm not saying like go when you're sick and be coughing on everybody, and you know, and for the love of God, people, wipe down the freaking machines. Nobody wants to sit on your sweaty ass sweat or chest boob sweat or whatever the frick it is. I mean, have some freaking courtesy. I mean, they got paper towels all over these joints, sir. Just bring your own goddamn towel. I swear to God. That's just sometimes why I just don't go to a place like that. But anyway. Um, oh my goodness. Usually people are pretty good, but some folks, you know, it's like they never been to the gym before, and it's like, okay, you gotta clean up after yourself. This is not your home where other people want to clean up after you. Okay. Right. So again, collective, I feel like you know, you could be like, yeah, I'm good working on this project, but maybe I don't want to work on this other one and this other one because I already have my, you know, whatever I have going on. Exactly. It's going to be something where you're going to be able to focus some dedicated time, get some enjoyment out of it, but it's not going to like take over your life. Okay. I feel like artists can relate to that. When we get into some of these projects, and it's just like, yeah. Anyway, I mean, some people, that's you know how they get things done too. It's like, yeah, we recorded this album in 1 week because we locked ourselves in the studio, you know. Like, anyway, so for some of you, you could be doing some recording. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, do come up for air, right? Justice, Libra. Look at this, you guys. I'm so happy for this reading tonight. So yeah, releasing um the negativity. Okay. So I don't want that to be too bright. I do want this to be kind of like a nighttime reading, so your eyes can kind of relax, right? From, you know, the strain of the day. Some of you could be working at computers, you know what I mean? And then, especially like if you work at a computer at your regular job and then you're doing like a pet project that requires computer work, that can be very straining, right? Okay. So, justice here, Libra, again. You could also have been told before, or people have made some assumptions that you were not good to work with, okay, with this group work thing here. um and you may now be getting like kind of your justice that actually you are good to work with and people do want to work with you. So um and this says Valkyrie here, which Valkyries are actually kind of like warrior angels. So there might be, and seriously, like the lady that did my mammogram today, God bless her. I mean, she was the best. Like, it's such, ugh, you know what I mean? Like, I would hate that job. She was great at it, right? Um, you know, it's like these guiding angels, you know, are going to be like coming in and helping you achieve these things where it's like, gosh, this could have been really painful. This could have been really upsetting. This could have been really traumatic, but it wasn't. Why? Because it's like an angel of justice was sent to help you. Okay. They could have Libra in their chart as well, or you could. Okay. So that's part of this releasing the negativity, knowing that there's somebody that's going to be stepping in that's on your side. Okay. And that's part of this group work here. So it may not look like the typical group work that you remember of, you know, like everybody gets into a meeting room or a, you know, a table at the library and we all hatch our ideas over the next hour. No, it may look a little bit different. Okay. Just as I was saying that, I was reminded of the story. Remember the story that Stevie Nicks tells about doing, was it Edge of 17 or whatever? Anyway, Prince coming into the studio and doing, you know, like that recording bit, and then it was just like, and then he was gone. Okay, but that's what was needed, and then that was it. He didn't need to stay, you know. Stevie Nicks did not need Prince to hang around and be Prince for her to be able to carry on, right? You know, she's Steve frickin' Nicks, right? And he knows that, and she knows that, right? Okay, I still have not been to Paisley Park yet. Has anybody been out there in Tarot Land that watches my channel? I would love to go sometime. But that's going to have to be, I think, a summertime thing because Minnesota does get a little cold in the winters. But I mean, it would be a good indoor activity technically because you're inside, right? Anyway, Eight of Cups, sailing on, right? Sailing in the velvet, waiting in the velvet. Okay, so yeah. For some of you, this transmission that you've been getting has been a little choppy. It's been a little rough. You're kind of are this pirate man here. I gotta show you the card. Like you are this pirate man here sailing on the seas. Sorry, it's hard to see them. These are they're like the holographic kind of ones too. So again, I don't want to put the bright light on here on the nighttime reading. Um, so yeah, anyway, you may have been kind of like moving the boat this way, moving the boat that way, and it's like I'm starting to get freaking seasick here, trying to catch on to what I'm supposed to be, you know what I mean, working on type thing. Yeah, so there's going to be a point where it's like you're either going to be offered like a contract, or you're going to get some kind of message where it's like, yeah, you're just going to plan certain amounts of time to be working on something. Okay. And the Eight of Cups is somebody who's like off doing their thing, like uninterrupted. So again, this could be something where like, you could be like, look, maybe you do like wall murals or something. You could be like, look, I'm painting all weekend. I don't want to be disturbed by anything. I don't want to take any phone calls. Like I have my food in the fridge. I have my, my Fantas or whatever I'm drinking, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's going to be able to let you like settle into this journey, I feel like, here with this Eight of Cups. And remember, we got the journey meditation card earlier. So where it may have felt rough, where it may have felt arduous, where it may have felt long before, it's like that stuff isn't going to be bothering you anymore. It's like those burdens have been lifted a little bit just to allow you then to actually finally experience it, right? It's like you've already waited out. It's like going to Disney, right? You've already waited in the line outside the ride in the sun or the rain, right? Whatever day it was at Disney that you went, right? And then you waited on the interior line, right? The line they don't show you until you get closer, right? And then you finally get on the ride and are able to like kind of enjoy it, right? This is kind of the time, right? Where you're going to be on that ride, but no, it's not going to take forever either, right? So it is going to work through your fears. You know, time passes quickly. Sometimes we need to enjoy things while we have them, right? Even if it is kind of a painful process, we might think, or it has in the past. The Three of Swords, very interesting. Alien was a word that I had written down on my previous reading. My the one titled "They Want You Under a Spell," where I talked about Biff and the aliens and like that Back to the Future thing. So that reading may apply to somebody that's watching this one. Okay, so go check that out. It has a green tab. You know what I mean? Like the thumbnail is green. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, what is I know there was a specific word for it. So yeah, alien, like, yeah, thumbnail isn't part of my regular vocabulary. That's a little alien to me. Okay, yeah, so work through your fears. You could be like, look, I'm old school, I don't use this, I don't use that, blah blah blah. Well, maybe you're gonna have to learn some new technology, right? So that being alien to you, um yeah. Okay. Okay, one more, please, here. The King of Swords was on the bottom of the deck, which, you know, if there was a quiet king, it could be definitely the King of Swords, right? Even though they're about communication. Wow, the World card, and it's interesting showing this kind of infinity symbol here. Yeah, as the world turns, right? All right, tomorrow's another day, right, Scarlett O'Hara? Uh-huh. So, you know, a lot of times the world card is about this like beginning a new chapter, closing a chapter. So whatever this again, this project is, I feel like it's going to be very something concrete, something tangible, something resolute where it's like, okay, we put a bow on that. Now I'm moving on to the next thing. Okay. Maybe you got paid for it as well. Maybe it was just, you know, however it was. It wasn't just some infinite loop, right, of maybes. Is how I want to describe the past energy, okay? Or the past energy of a lot of work and not a lot of tangible results. I mean, I've been part of projects before where, you know, we pooled our money and, you know, I still don't have a music video in my hands after $1,500 being spent. You know what I'm saying? Um, and all that money we spent on recording tracks, and we had what, one out of that? Like, okay. Anyway, so I'm just saying, collective, it's not going to be like you're just eating your own tail anymore here. Because number one, you're more experienced, you're more knowledgeable. Kind of like I had to turn on my sassy pants earlier today. Yeah, Three of Pentacles. Do you realize who you're working with? I may look small, but I'm not stupid. Right here, this dwarf guy, with his big hammer. It's like, oh, what are you? Well, I don't know. Who else are you going to get to work with that 5 foot ceiling but a dwarf? So, who needs who now? Okay. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all great when put on your bad sneakers, right? And stomp around town like you're some fat ass around here, right? Um But the truth is, if you've ever watched Dirty Jobs by Mike Rowe, not everybody's going to get into the goddamn nitty gritty, are they? Okay. All right. We're about at half an hour here, so I'm going to continue on. Oh, Jesus. Lord have mercy. Anyway. I'm telling you, there's something in there tonight, man. I had to get hopped on here. We got a storm coming too, like supposed to get like some freezing rain, cry, all that nasty stuff tomorrow, I believe. So, probably a few people hitting the store for those milk jugs. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I mean, I know I did because I like my tea, as you said. This is chai. Okay, what I'm gonna tell you guys, my big secret here when I'm drinking. This is my chai tea, okay, which I just use regular chai tea bag and then add half water and then I do oat milk, okay? And then you can add some honey to it as well if you like a little extra sweetener, okay? But sometimes some of the oat milks, or obviously you could use almond, soy, whatever you prefer. Some of those have flavorings and sweeteners in them already, so this oat milk I bought, I happen to get is plain flavored. But some of the ones, especially when they're like extra creamy and stuff, they're pretty good. You know what I mean? If you like a thicker like cream additive for like your coffee and stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. Ace of Cups. Look at y'all. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Yeah. So you may really have Scorpio in your chart, you guys. And it's like, oh yeah, Scorpios are all stinging and blah, blah, blah. Well, Scorpios deserve justice too and love, right? Do they not? Holding the line out for everybody else while everybody else, follows around like bums. I'm sorry, but sometimes that's what occurs, and then somebody has to step out and say, I'm making a stand, you know? It's the season of Aquarius. That's, the unconventional as well. Saying, no, I'm not gonna stay in this grain of hating on everything and everybody's bad and making it so you don't even want to do anything at all. No, 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 no. So again, collective, people might find out that you're actually quite a joy to work with when you actually start working with some of these people. But again, it's also about being around the right people that can actually recognize your skills and talents. I mean, I've been in rooms before and people have told me like they're like, oh well, they really know what they're talking about, and then it's like, do they? Okay, well, anyway, I don't have to work with them anymore. Yeah, his wife didn't want to work with him anymore either after a while. I think he's remarried now, but whatever. A lot of people can find somebody. The placeholder. If you like that kind of commentary, you can go over to my Ophelia's band page. I have a song in process called Insert Woman here. And that's kind of what it's about. You know what I mean? Some people, it's, it's, again, the justice is going to be yours, collective, where somebody thought they were going to use you as a placeholder. It's like, no, I'm actually going to show you what I'm really made of. And you're like, I'm made of love and guts and a whole bunch of gooey stuff, right? Not just wielding a sword, right? I'm not just the soldier of God, I'm the lover of, right? What's that song, Victim of Love? I mean, how many songs are written about that? It's like, always going back to that theme. And why is that? Maybe some folks will learn a little something about that. Focusing a little bit more on love and not about, on who's this, whatever, dude. I mean, there's a time and a place, right? But it's like, is that what you want your whole attitude to be? You know what I mean? Like, nobody can teach me nothing. I know everything. Oh, really? You do, huh? Okay, well, you're not going to be fun to work with, are you? You know what I'm saying? Those are not the type of people that are good at brainstorming or collaboration. They're just not. Because they think there's only one track and one way to go. Anybody that thinks they're the smartest person in the room is really quickly going to find out that they are fucking wrong. That one goes out to you, big one. Yeah, that's right. Sweaty bastard. Anyway. But, some people are about looks and plastic things. Like at the end of the day, those award shows, it's just a statue, right? You know what I mean? It's a symbol of something, right? What some of those folks put out is worth so much more, right? And then just what that little statue shows, right? think of how many people are being reached, right? Okay. Ace of Wands. Yeah, I feel like collective, this, whatever this is that you're going to be working on, it's going to reinvigorate you. Okay. So, fire signs as well. Aries, Aries is right here on this moon card as well, seeing fiery climax approaches. So this might kick off for you in Aries season. All right. And when I say kick off for you, like when maybe that'll be the time after, like maybe you've gotten a contract approved or signed or whatever kind of work agreement, right? Where you can actually like really dip into this and get things done, okay? And you're going to be able to put your full weight of creativity into this here with this Ace of Wands. There's not, it's like you're leaving it all on the floor type thing, you know? Um, you know, when you get in the car with your friends on the way home and there's just you don't even need to say nothing. Nobody needs to even talk. Right? We left it all out on the floor, man. You know what I mean? Now it's just time to go home and get a good night's rest. Okay? It's going to be like that. Okay? Wow. Hello, the Empress. Wow, look at that. On the bottom of the sun card, too. Talking about boss moves here. Yeah, Empress. You could be like, look, I've already been backpacking through this. You're like, I want to do this now, kind of, and you're gonna be able to, right? um, all that sweat equity that you've put in, right? It's gonna start shining through. This also may be unfamiliar to other people, why you might have gotten this alien card here with the Three of Swords. You might also, you know what I mean, collective. Sometimes we're not used to attention or affection from others, but when people see passion and love right in the forefront, it's just going to be a natural human reaction, where people might see you in a glow up kind of way, okay? But really, you're grown up, right? The Empress is a grown up, right? These are not children's games, right? It's like, okay, I'm not, all right. Okay, so yeah. So it's like, it's not children's games, but it is. Okay, so, right, like, so the child within, right? You've been able to successfully launch that forward, you know? Um, yeah, keeping that spirit of lightness, okay, about this. It's going to be very important, all right? Oh, look at that tower. It wanted to come out in reverse too, tower. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to be hit with this news, right? Whereas you're going to be practicing stillness, okay? And for some other folks, they are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe it, right? Like, I mean, anytime Beyonce wins anything, people like to freak out, like, right? Like, right? Like, well, she is Beyonce. Like, what did you expect, y'all? She didn't come there. She came to play for real, y'all. Okay? You know what I mean? Like, for some people, just looking good is enough, right? They didn't expect much to be beyond that, right? But it's like, oh, now we got served, didn't we? Now we got served. Somebody out there knows it by heart. I know they do. I can hear it in my head. All right, y'all. I think that's all that I have for you. Look, again, the sun on the bottom. So, again, even though, so yeah, like what might happen as well is somebody might find out, like, they're like, you worked on what? Okay, like all these people that want to go out and hate on, like, all, oh, Beyonce has this team, blah, blah. Okay, well, you don't think if that producer out there had gotten an invite to one of those sessions, they wouldn't be now being like, "Oh yeah, I was there when she was making." Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't be able to shut the hell up about it. Sorry, folks. I gotta end the reading, I think. I don't want y'all to be listening to this in the background. So, please do like the video. Take this message. Use it with discernment. Okay. Subscribe to the channel as well. If you are able today, there is a link for monetary donation if you wish to pass that forward. If not, always just subscribe or like the video is the free way to support the channel and these messages. Okay. So hopefully you got something out of this reading tonight. And again, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.